Welcome back to She Rises Daily, Emerging You in 10. I'm your host, DocShellie, here to bring you your daily dose of inspiration, empowerment, and growth. I want you to listen for 2 words today. I need. I need more time. I need to know what's going to happen. I need them to understand. I need closure. I need to feel ready. I need things to settle down before I can start. We say, I need constantly. And sometimes we absolutely mean it. There are things human beings genuinely need. There are conditions that genuinely matter. There are boundaries that are non-negotiable. And sometimes what we're calling a need is actually a preference. A strong preference, perhaps, something that would make the situation significantly easier, and not something that is actually required. Because when you turn a preference into a requirement, you may accidentally convince yourself that you cannot move forward until something outside of you changes. So today, I want to ask a slightly annoying question. Do you actually need that? Preferences matter, but they are not requirements. So let's start here because I am not suggesting we should ignore what we want. Preferences contain useful information. You may prefer having time to think before making a decision. Awesome. You may prefer clear expectations before beginning a project. That's reasonable. You may prefer resolving conflict before moving forward in a relationship. Certainly understandable. The problem is not having preferences. The problem is when the language quietly shifts from, this would help me, to, I cannot proceed without this. Because now we've changed the meaning. A preference influences your experience, where a requirement determines whether something is possible, and those are very different levels of authority. The phrase, I need, can quietly hand your agency to someone else. Think about this sentence. I need them to understand why I made this decision. Okay, but what happens if they don't understand? Do you have to keep explaining? Do you reconsider the decision? Do you stay emotionally tethered to the conversation until they finally see it your way? Maybe you would like them to understand. Maybe their understanding matters deeply to you. But if you require it in order to feel settled, you've handed them control over when you get to move forward. Same thing with the phrase, I need closure. Sometimes closure comes through a conversation, an explanation, an apology, and sometimes the other person is not willing or able to give you what you hoped for. Does that mean you're sentenced to remain unfinished forever? I don't think so. When we make something outside our control a requirement for our own movement, we give away more agency than we often realize. I've heard versions of this in coaching many, many times. Someone will say, I need my leader to recognize what I have contributed, or I need them to explain why they made that decision, or I need everyone to be aligned before we move forward. And instead of immediately challenging it, I'll usually get curious. What would that give you? Maybe recognition would give them validation. An explanation might give them understanding. Alignment might give them confidence. And then we can ask a different question. Is that the only way you can get what you're looking for? That's often where things open up, because maybe what they need isn't actually the thing they have named. They need what they believe that thing will provide. And there may be more than one path to getting there. Ask what the need is supposed to give you. This is a really useful practice. So when you hear yourself say, I need, ask, what do I believe that would give me? I need more information, for example. Would that give you confidence, certainty, permission? What about this sentence? I need them to apologize. Would that give you validation, acknowledgement, justice? How about I need more time before I start? Would that give you preparedness, safety, a guarantee that you won't screw it up? Now we're underneath that request. And sometimes you discover the original need isn't actually a need at all. It's one strategy for meeting something deeper. Don't confuse the thing you want with the thing you're actually trying to create. That's where more options become visible. Changing need to prefer can change what feels possible. Language matters. We've talked about this before. Try hearing the difference. I need to feel confident before I do this versus I would prefer to feel confident before I do this. I need everyone to agree versus I'd prefer everyone to agree. I need to know how this is going to turn out versus I'd certainly prefer to know how this is going to turn out. The circumstances have not changed. Your relationship with the circumstances shifts. One says, this must happen before I can proceed. And the other says, this matters to me and I still have choices. That's not semantics. That is agency. Here's your reflection question for today. What have you been describing as something you need that may actually be something you deeply prefer? And if it isn't truly required, what choices become available to you? And your power thought, be careful what you call a requirement. Every unnecessary I need can become another condition you place between yourself and moving forward. Some things are absolutely genuine needs. Honor those things. Some things are non-negotiable. Protect those things. Some things are legitimate boundaries. Keep them. Hold them tight. This isn't about convincing yourself you shouldn't need anything from anyone. It is about getting more precise, because sometimes I need really means I want, I would prefer, this would make things easier, this matters deeply to me. And when we can get precise, it gives us choices. You can want something without requiring it. You can prefer something without depending on it. You can be disappointed that something isn't available and still decide what happens next. This week, catch yourself the next time you say, I need. Don't automatically correct yourself. Just ask, is this truly required, or would I strongly prefer it? And if it is a preference, ask, what does this preference give me? And is there another way to create some of that for myself? And see what opens up for you. Thank you for joining me for another episode of She Rises Daily, Emerging You in 10. If today's episode made you realize you currently have approximately 47 things listed as prerequisites for moving forward with your life, perhaps it's time for a small audit. And if you know someone else who might benefit from this distinction, please share this episode with them. Until next time, remember, know what you need, honor what matters, and don't accidentally turn every preference into a prerequisite. You may have more room to move than you think.